Admiral Hyunwoo Kim stood in the command center on Luna Base, watching the holographic display that would decide humanity's fate. The Galactic Harmony Council chamber appeared before him, filled with alien beings who had never set foot on Earth but were about to judge his entire species. The year was 2387, and humanity had been part of the galactic community for 50 years. They had given resources, shared knowledge, and followed every rule the Council made. But it was never enough for the 12 alien species that controlled the galaxy. Dr. So-Young Park sat at the defendant's table in the real chamber, millions of miles away. She was Earth's best scientist and their voice in the Council. Her hands shook slightly as she prepared to defend humanity one last time. The Valkyrie speaker rose first. The insect-like creature's multiple eyes focused on Dr. Park with cold judgment. When the Valkyrie spoke, it was with the voice of billions, their hive mind making every word a unified decision. The humans have refused our generous offer of genetic modification, the Valkyrie announced. They refuse to remove their violent instincts. They keep building weapons when we have told them peace is the only way. Ambassador Ji-Hai Choi, sitting beside Dr. Park, whispered urgently in her ear, "Tell them about our defensive needs. Explain the border conflicts." But Dr. Park knew it would not matter. The Council had made up their minds before this trial even began. The Asthan representative floated forward, its energy form shimmering like blue fire. The Asthan spoke without moving, their words appearing directly in everyone's mind. Humans show patterns we have seen before. Aggression, competition, war. These traits spread like disease through peaceful civilizations. General Dongmin Lee watched from Earth's military headquarters, his weathered face hard as stone. He had fought in the border conflicts the aliens dismissed. He knew what monsters lurked in the dark between stars. Creatures that would eat peaceful species alive. But the Council lived in their protected core worlds and believed their own propaganda about universal peace. The evidence is clear, continued the Asthan. Human military growth exceeds all defensive needs. They research weapons we have banned. They train soldiers when they should train diplomats. They are a threat to galactic harmony. Dr. Park stood up, her voice steady despite her fear. Honored Council members, humanity has never attacked a Council species. We have defended ourselves against pirates and hostile forces in the Outer Rim. Every weapon we build protects not just us, but trade routes that benefit everyone. The Thrakari delegate laughed, a sound like grinding metal. The reptilian warrior race had been the Council's military arm for centuries, before they too submitted to pacification protocols. We once said the same words, human. We once believed in strength and honor. The Council taught us better ways. Through genetic modification that removed your free will, Dr. Park shot back. You're not warriors anymore. Your pet's silence filled the chamber. Admiral Kim felt his heart sink. Dr. Park had spoken the truth, but truth was not welcome here. The Valkyrie speaker's mandibles clicked in anger. The human reveals her species' true nature. Disrespect for authority. Belief in violence over reason. This confirms our judgment. One by one, the 12 species voted. Valkyrie, Asthan, Thrakari, Zorvak, Methani. Each guilty felt like a blow to Admiral Kim's chest. The humans who had explored the stars, who had dreamed of joining a galactic family, were being cast out like criminals. The verdict is unanimous, the Valkyrie announced. Humanity is declared a hostile species unfit for civilized space. You will return to your home system. A barrier will contain you there for 100 years. Perhaps isolation will teach you wisdom. Dr. Park's voice cracked as she made one final plea. Please, we can change. We can learn. Give us another chance. The Asthan's mental voice was cold as vacuum. Your species has shown its nature too clearly. Warriors cannot become peaceful through choice. Only through force. Ambassador Choi stood up, tears streaming down her face. You're making a mistake. Humanity has so much to offer the galaxy. Our art, our science, our dreams. Your dreams are of conquest, the Thrakari replied. We have seen your entertainment. Your stories, all wars and heroes and battles. This is who you are. The council chamber faded from the hologram. Admiral Kim stared at the empty space where humanity's hopes had just died. Around him, officers and technicians sat in stunned silence. General Lee's voice came through the communication system from Earth. Yunwoo, the transport ships are already moving toward the Sol system. They're not even giving us time to say goodbye to our people scattered across the galaxy. How long do we have? Admiral Kim asked. 6 months. Then the barrier goes up. Dr. Park's image appeared on another screen, her face streaked with tears but her eyes blazing with anger. They gave us one ship as a mercy gift, one outdated cargo hauler to remember what we're losing. Admiral Kim felt something cold and hard settle in his chest. He had served in the Korean Space Force before Earth joined the galactic community. He remembered what it felt like to fight for survival, to win through skill and determination against impossible odds. So young, he said quietly. Send a message to every human in the galaxy. Tell them to come home, and what are we going to do? Ambassador Choi asked from the council chamber. General Lee answered before Admiral Kim could speak. We're going to give them exactly what they expect from us, Dong-min, Admiral Kim warned. No, hear me out. They think we're warriors? They think we're too dangerous for their peaceful galaxy? Fine. Let's show them what dangerous really looks like. Dr. Park wiped her tears away, her scientist's mind already working. The barrier technology. If we can understand it, maybe we can break it. More than that, General Lee continued. We have 50 years of their technology to study. 50 years of learning how their ships work, how their weapons function, how their minds think. They just gave us the greatest gift possible. What gift? Admiral Kim asked. General Lee's smile was sharp as a blade. Time to prepare. Time to build. Time to become everything they fear we already are. Admiral Kim looked around the command center at his people, young officers who had dreamed of exploring the galaxy, engineers who had wanted to build bridges between species, scientists who had hoped to unlock the universe's secrets. The aliens had taken those dreams and crushed them. They had judged humanity and found them wanting. They had cast Earth into darkness and expected them to emerge broken and humbled. They were about to learn why that was a mistake. Begin the Stellar Reclamation Initiative, Admiral Kim ordered. Classification level, Absolute Black. Authorization, Earth Command Supreme. The holographic displays around him shifted to show shipyard blueprints, weapon designs, and tactical analysis reports. Humanity's exile was about to become the aliens' worst nightmare. In the depths of space, the Council's barrier began to form around the Sol system, trapping humanity in their birthplace. The aliens celebrated their victory and returned to their peaceful lives, confident they had saved the galaxy from a dangerous species. They had no idea they had just created their future masters. 25 years had passed since the Council's judgment, and the Sol system had become something the aliens never expected. Where once scattered human colonies had sent raw materials to distant worlds, now every asteroid, moon, and planet served the greatest military buildup in galactic history. Captain Jae-won-yoon pulled his fighter through a barrel roll that would have killed any alien pilot. The G-forces that crushed other species barely affected humans anymore. Dr. So-young Park had spent decades studying alien physiology, learning their weaknesses while humanity grew stronger. Test complete, Jae-won reported through his helmet radio. The new engines are working perfectly. Below him, the asteroid belt had transformed into a maze of shipyards and factories. Massive space stations drifted between the rocks, their construction bays filled with ships unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The aliens thought they knew human technology from their time in the Council. They were wrong. Engineer Bo Rahan floated in zero gravity beside the prototype dreadnought, running her hands along armor plating that seemed to ripple like liquid metal. The adaptive systems are responding faster than predicted, she told her team. Watch this. She fired a plasma bolt at the hull. The armor absorbed the energy, analyzed it, and restructured itself to resist that exact frequency. The next shot bounced off harmlessly. How many attacks can it adapt to? Asked one of her assistants. All of them, Bora smiled. The quantum processors can handle millions of variables simultaneously. Every shot that hits us makes us stronger. On Mars, the military academies never slept. General Dong-min Lee, now Supreme Commander of Human Forces, walked through the training facilities where young officers learned lessons the Council had never imagined. These were not the humans who had begged for acceptance 50 years ago. These were predators shaped by exile and hardened by purpose. Commander Nam, he called to a woman studying holographic battle plans. What did you learn from the Velkari combat footage? Commander Sujin Nam had spent years analyzing every alien species in the Council. She knew their strengths, their fears, and most importantly, their weaknesses. The hive mind is their greatest vulnerability, sir. Disrupt their quantum communication network. and billions of Velkari become confused and helpless. And the Asthen? Energy beings with a fatal flaw. They maintain coherence through harmonic frequencies. Hit them with the right counter frequency and they disperse like smoke. General Lee nodded. Dr. Park had been right about alien overconfidence. They had ruled the galaxy so long that they forgot how to fight anything that fought back. In the deep laboratories beneath Luna Base, Dr. Park examined the barrier technology that imprisoned humanity. She was older now, her hair gray but her mind sharper than ever. Admiral Hyunwoo Kim, kept young by life extension treatments, watched over her shoulder. The barrier isn't just energy, she explained, pointing at complex equations floating in the air. It's folded space-time. The aliens bent reality itself to cage us. Can we break it? Better, we can control it. Dr. Park's eyes gleamed. They built a cage, but they gave us the key. Every quantum signature, every harmonic frequency, every dimensional fold. I can map it all. Admiral Kim studied the readouts. Numbers and symbols that meant nothing to him but everything to Dr. Park. How long? 6 months to create a stable breach. Large enough for a fleet to pass through. Then it's time. Admiral Kim activated his command console and sent a coded message throughout the Sol system. On every ship, station, and planet, humans received the same words. Starbreak protocol active. All units report readiness status. The responses came back within hours. 50 dreadnoughts fully operational, 300 cruisers combat ready, 1,000 fighters waiting in launch bays, weapons that could shatter moons, shields that could stop suns, an armada that existed in defiance of every law the Council had tried to impose. Engineer Han stood in the main construction bay, watching as the flagship took shape. The indomitable Spirit stretched 3 kilometers from bow to stern, its hull bristling with weapons the aliens had never seen. Quantum fusion reactors provided power that dwarfed anything in Council space. Armor that learned and adapted covered every surface. She's beautiful, whispered one of the workers. She's death, Han corrected. Death for everyone who thought humans would quietly disappear. Captain Yoon ran final tests on his fighter wing, pushing the pilots and machines to their limits. The new fighters moved like hunting birds, fast and deadly. Their weapons could penetrate any known shield. Their stealth systems made them invisible to alien sensors. Remember, he told his pilots, the aliens think they know how we fight. They've studied our old tactics, our old ships, our old weapons. Everything they know is useless now. The pilots nodded. They had trained for this moment their entire lives. Children born after the exile, raised on stories of alien betrayal and human determination. They knew exactly what they were fighting for. Commander Nam briefed the intelligence teams one final time. Every alien species has psychological profiles in your systems. The Velkari fear isolation from the hive. The Asthen fear permanent dissolution. The Thrakari fear dishonor. Use these fears. What about their strengths? Asked a young officer. They have none that matter, Nam replied coldly. Strength means nothing if you don't expect resistance. They've been unchallenged so long they've forgotten how to lose. Dr. Park made final adjustments to the barrier breach device. The massive machine hummed with barely contained energy. Reality itself bending around its core. Dimensional fold complete, she announced. Breach window will remain stable for 72 hours. Admiral Kim stood on the bridge of the indomitable Spirit looking out at his fleet. Ships filled with humans who had been told they were unworthy of the galaxy. Soldiers trained to perfection. Engineers who had surpassed alien technology. Scientists who had unlocked secrets the Council thought impossible. All ships report ready. Admiral, his communications officer announced. Admiral Kim thought about the trial 25 years ago. The alien voices pronouncing humanity unfit for civilization. The barrier rising to trap them like animals. The single cargo ship given as mock charity. Signal the fleet, he ordered. Today we begin the journey home. Today we show the galaxy what exile created. The barrier shimmered and tore open like fabric. Space itself parted to reveal the stars beyond. The galaxy that had rejected humanity and expected them to wither and die. Instead, an armada emerged that would reshape everything. All ships. This is Admiral Kim. His voice carried to every human vessel. The Council thought they were protecting the galaxy from us. They thought they were saving civilization from human aggression. They were right to be afraid. Just not for the reasons they believed. The fleet moved forward, engines that burned brighter than stars carrying humanity back to a galaxy that had no idea what was coming. The aliens had taught humanity that strength was the only truth that mattered, that the weak served the strong. That peaceful species knelt before those willing to fight. The lesson was about to begin. Admiral Hyun-Woo Kim stood on the bridge of the Indomitable Spirit as humanity's fleet emerged from the barrier breach. 50 years of exile were ending, but not in the way the Council expected. The old man's eyes, sharp despite his 90-plus years, studied the tactical displays showing their target. Frontier Station Kepler 442 hung in space like a jewel, its alien architecture gleaming under the distant star's light. The Council had built it as a monitoring post, watching for threats from the galaxy's edge. They never imagined the greatest threat would come from behind them. Station composition confirmed, reported Commander Soo-Jin Nam from her intelligence station. Valkyrie garrison, approximately 5,000 troops. Standard Council defensive systems. They're not expecting trouble. Captain Jae-Won-yoon, now wing commander, checked his fighter squadron status. Stealth systems active. The station sensors can't see us yet. Admiral Kim nodded. The aliens still use technology humanity had helped develop decades ago. But humans had improved everything since then. Their ships moved like ghosts through space, invisible to scanners that should have detected them from light years away. Remember the plan, Admiral Kim announced to his fleet. This is not just about taking one station. This is about sending a message. The galaxy needs to know that humanity has returned. Dr. So-Young Park, now director of xenological warfare, monitored the biological scans from her science ship. Valkyrie stress patterns are normal. They suspect nothing. Their hive mind is calm and confident. That confidence was about to be shattered. The Valkyrie station commander, designated Nest Leader 7742, performed his daily inspection of the monitoring systems. The insect-like creature's compound eyes swept over readouts that showed empty space in all directions. For 50 years, this sector had been peaceful. The dangerous humans were trapped in their home system, safely contained behind the Council's barrier. All sensor sweeps complete, reported a subordinate Valkyrie. No anomalous readings detected. Nest Leader 7742 clicked his mandibles in satisfaction. Another quiet day protecting the galaxy from threats that no longer existed. The humans had been silent for decades, probably extinct by now, or reduced to a primitive state suitable for re-education when the barrier finally came down. He had no idea that death was already among them. Wing Commander, Yoon's fighters slipped through the station's defensive perimeter like shadows. Their stealth technology made them invisible not just to sensors but to the naked eye. Adaptive camouflage shifted their hull colors to match the background stars perfectly. Target acquisition complete, Yoon whispered into his comm. All fighter wings in position. Engineer Bora Han monitored the fleet systems from the Indomitable Spirit. The ship's adaptive armor was already analyzing the station's defensive capabilities, preparing counters for weapons that hadn't even been fired yet. Quantum computers processed every detail of alien technology, finding weaknesses the aliens didn't know they had. Their shields use harmonic resonance patterns, Han reported. Our weapons can match those frequencies and pass right through. Admiral Kim watched the countdown timer reach 0. All ships execute Operation Starbreak. The attack began with electronic warfare. Human computers, quantum-enhanced and running programs the aliens couldn't comprehend, invaded the station's networks. In seconds, they took control of sensors, communications, and life support systems. Nest Leader 7742 stared in confusion as his displays went dark, then lit up with error messages in a language he didn't recognize. "What is happening?" he demanded. Before any Valkyrie could answer, the first human fighters appeared out of nowhere, their weapons tearing through shields that offered no protection. The station's defensive turrets tried to track targets that moved too fast and changed direction too quickly for alien reflexes to follow. Contact with Galactic Command, Nest Leader 7742 ordered desperately. Send emergency signals. But the human electronic warfare systems had already cut all communications. The station was isolated, alone, facing an enemy that fought unlike anything in Council experience. Commander Nam smiled as she watched the Valkyrie panic responses. Their hive mind coordination is breaking down. Individual units are acting independently. They don't know how to function without constant network contact. The human cruisers moved in next, their weapons precise and devastating. Each shot was calculated by quantum computers that predicted where alien ships would be, Before the aliens themselves knew, council vessels that had never faced real opposition found themselves outmatched by technology they couldn't understand. Wing Commander Yoon led his fighters in a dance of destruction around the station's outer defenses. The alien gunners fired desperately at targets that seemed to vanish and reappear at will. Human pilots, enhanced by decades of genetic optimization and training, performed maneuvers that would have killed any other species. "This is too easy," one of Yoon's pilots reported. "They're flying like they've never been in a real fight." "Because they haven't," Yoon replied. "The Council has kept the galaxy peaceful for so long that they've forgotten how to fight anyone who fights back." The Velkari tried to form defensive formations, but their hive mind had been disrupted by human jamming systems. Individual insects, bred for thousands of years to follow collective thought, found themselves alone and terrified. Some fled, others fired wildly at shadows. None fought effectively. Admiral Kim watched from his command chair as the battle unfolded exactly as predicted. Dr. Park's analysis of alien psychology had been perfect. The aliens had grown soft, dependent on their technology and their sense of superiority. They had never imagined that their former victims might surpass them. "Station shields at 15%, reported the tactical officer. "Their weapons have stopped firing effectively." "Communications jamming is total," added the electronic warfare specialist. "No signals getting in or out." Engineer Han monitored the adaptive systems as alien weapons struck human ships. Each hit made the armor stronger, more resistant. The few shots that penetrated caused minimal damage before the hulls repaired themselves. "Their plasma cannons are actually helping us," Han laughed. "Our armor is learning to absorb that energy type completely." The battle reached its climax when the indomitable spirit moved within range of the station. Admiral Kim's flagship, 3 kilometers of death and destruction, dwarfed the alien structure. Its weapons, powered by quantum fusion reactors, could have destroyed the station in seconds. Instead, Admiral Kim chose to demonstrate human superiority. "Target their command center only," he ordered. "Surgical strike. I want survivors." A single beam of coherent energy, precisely calibrated and impossibly controlled, carved through the station's armor like it was made of paper. The blast destroyed the command center while leaving the rest of the structure intact. A demonstration of accuracy that alien weapons couldn't match. Nest Leader 7742 found himself floating in vacuum. His section of the station vented to space. His environmental suit kept him alive, but his mind struggled to process what had happened. In 6 hours, his impregnable station had been reduced to wreckage by enemies that shouldn't exist. "Surrender signal detected," Commander Nam reported. "The remaining Velkari are requesting terms." Admiral Kim stood up from his command chair, feeling the weight of history on his shoulders. This was the moment humanity announced its return to a galaxy that had rejected them. "Open a channel to the station survivors," he ordered. The holographic display showed terrified Velkari faces, their compound eyes wide with shock and fear. These were beings who had voted to exile humanity 50 years ago, confident in their own superiority. "I am Admiral Kim of the Human Stellar Fleet," he announced. "Your station is now under human control. You will be treated according to the laws of war, which is more mercy than your council showed my people." Nest Leader 7742's voice came through the communication system, weak and broken. "This is impossible. Humans are primitive, contained. How did you—" "Learn," Admiral Kim finished. "Grow, evolve. You gave us 50 years to think about your judgment. 50 years to prepare. Did you really believe that exiling us would make us weaker?" Dr. Park stepped into view of the camera, her aged face set with cold satisfaction. "You taught us that the strong rule the weak, that peaceful species serve those willing to fight, that technology and determination matter more than justice or mercy. We learned your lessons very well." The communication channel went silent as the implications sank in. The humans weren't just back. They were better, stronger, more advanced than anyone had imagined possible. Admiral Kim gestured to his communications officer. "Send a message to the Galactic Council. Tell them that humanity has returned to collect what we're owed." "What message should we include, sir?" Admiral Kim smiled, remembering the words spoken at their trial 50 years ago. "Tell them we're ready to discuss the new terms of galactic civilization, and tell them that this time, we'll be the ones making the rules." The first human victory was complete. Across the galaxy, the message would spread that the exiled species had returned as conquerors. The Council's worst fears were about to become reality. The Council's response came faster than anyone expected. Within weeks of humanity's victory at Kepler 442, the largest fleet in galactic history assembled at the Nexus staging area. 7 species contributed ships, troops, and their absolute determination to crush the human uprising before it could spread. Fleet Admiral Taehyun Kang stood on the bridge of Earth's vengeance, studying the intelligence reports with cold eyes. Admiral Kim had chosen him to lead humanity's second wave, and Kang intended to prove worthy of that trust. At 45, he represented a new generation of human commanders who had known nothing but exile and preparation for this moment. Council fleet composition confirmed, reported his intelligence officer. 1,047 ships. Asthan Hegemony provides the heavy carriers. Thrakari Empire leads the battle line. Velkari hive ships carry the assault troops. Dr. Young Ho Shin looked up from his psychological warfare station. The alien commanders are confident. They believe overwhelming numbers will compensate for tactical disadvantages. They're about to learn otherwise, Kang replied. The Council had chosen the Crimson Nebula as their battleground, believing the stellar phenomena would interfere with human technology. The red gases and electromagnetic storms had hidden pirate fleets for centuries. It seemed the perfect place to trap and destroy. Humanity's upstart Armada, Admiral Korvash of the Asthan Hegemony, commanded the Council forces from his flagship Eternal Light. The energy, being's form flickered with confidence as he addressed his subordinate commanders through quantum communication. The humans possess perhaps 50 ships, his mental voice reached across the fleet. Primitive vessels enhanced with stolen technology. We bring over 1,000 ships crewed by the galaxy's finest warriors. This will not be a battle. It will be an execution. General Zethak of the Thrakari Empire agreed, his reptilian features set in a savage grin. My people ruled through strength before the Council taught us wisdom. These humans believe they can do the same. They will learn that evolution cannot be reversed. Nest Commander 9847 of the Velkari spoke for billions of his kind. The Hive remembers every human face from their trial. Their arrogance. Their refusal to accept guidance. Today we correct the Council's mistake in showing them mercy. None of them suspected that humanity was listening to every word. Commander Sujin Nam had spent decades learning alien languages and communication protocols. Human quantum computers broke their encryption in real time, giving Fleet Admiral Kang perfect intelligence about enemy plans and morale. They're dividing into 3 attack formations, Nam reported. Asthan carriers in the center, Thrakari battle line on the flanks, Velkari swarm units everywhere else. Classic Council doctrine. Doctrine from an era when no one fought back, Kang noted. How long until contact? 6 hours, replied his navigation officer. Kang activated fleet communications. All ships, this is Fleet Admiral Kang. Today we face the combined might of 7 alien species. They outnumber us 3 to 1. They believe this makes them superior. He paused, looking out at the 300 human dreadnoughts that made up his second wave. They're about to discover why numbers mean nothing against evolution. Colonel Minji Ryu prepared her strike corps aboard the assault ship Retribution. Her troops were humanity's elite, soldiers trained from birth to fight aliens who thought themselves naturally superior. Each Marine wore armor that adapted to enemy weapons, carried rifles that fired rounds guided by quantum targeting systems. Remember your training, she told her troops. The aliens fight like they always have. Rigid formations, predictable tactics. They've never faced an enemy that learns and adapts faster than they can respond. The Strike Corps nodded. They had studied every alien species, learned their weaknesses, prepared for this moment their entire lives. They were ready to show the galaxy what human soldiers could do when motivated by 50 years of exile and hatred. Captain Jae-Won Yoon, now commanding his own dreadnought Stellar Fury, ran final checks on his ship's adaptive systems. The vessel could change its weapons, armor, and tactics in real time based on battlefield conditions. Against alien fleets that followed rigid doctrine, this flexibility would be devastating. All systems green, reported his tactical officer. Quantum computers are analyzing enemy fleet patterns. Adaptive protocols ready to implement. Good, Yoon replied. The aliens think they know how we fight because they've seen our old ships. Today we show them how much we've evolved. Dr. Shin activated his psychological warfare systems as the fleets approached each other. His broadcast would carry directly to alien crews, showing them footage of Kepler 442's destruction, demonstrating human technological superiority, and planting seeds of doubt in minds unprepared for psychological assault. "Transmission begins in 30 seconds, he announced. "Let's see how confident they remain when they realize what they're really facing." The Battle of the Crimson Nebula began with the aliens' traditional charge. Thrakari battlecruisers led the attack, their massive ships advancing in formation while Asthan fighters swarmed ahead. The Velkari hive ships spread out to encircle what they assumed would be an easy target. They met humanity's response with complete shock. The human ships didn't form traditional battle lines. Instead, they flowed like water around the alien attacks, their quantum computers predicting enemy movements and positioning each vessel for maximum advantage. Weapons that should have missed struck with impossible accuracy. Shields that should have failed absorbed energies that should have destroyed them. "Impossible readings," Admiral Korvash reported to his subordinates. "Human ships are moving faster than our sensors indicate. Their weapons are penetrating our shields without apparent effort." General Zethak watched in horror as his lead cruisers exploded under human fire. "Their targeting systems are too accurate. Every shot hits critical systems. How are they learning?" Nest Commander 9847 interrupted, his voice filled with growing panic. "Their ships are adapting to our weapons in real time. Each shot we fire makes them stronger." Dr. Shin's psychological broadcast reached alien crews throughout the nebula. Images of human technological advancement mixed with analysis of alien weaknesses. The broadcast didn't just inform, they demoralized, showing alien soldiers exactly how outmatched they were. "Your commanders lied to you." Shin's voice carried across space. "They told you humans were primitive. Instead, you face an enemy that has surpassed everything you thought possible. Your weapons are obsolete. Your tactics are predictable. Your defeat is inevitable." The effect was immediate. Alien ships began breaking formation as crews questioned their orders. Some vessels attempted to retreat. Others fired wildly at targets they couldn't effectively track. The unified Council force began fragmenting under pressure it had never imagined facing. Fleet Admiral Kang watched the battle unfold from his command chair, his tactical displays showing human superiority in every category that mattered. Speed, accuracy, adaptability, and morale all favored his forces decisively. "Enemy formation is collapsing," his tactical officer reported. "Multiple alien ships are attempting to withdraw." "Let them run," Kang ordered. "But make sure they carry the message back to the Council. Let them know what happened here." Captain Yoon's dreadnought carved through an Asthan carrier formation, his adaptive weapons shifting frequency and power level to counter each enemy shield type. The energy beings that had seemed so superior during humanity's trial now dispersed like smoke under concentrated fire. "Their harmonic frequencies are completely mapped," Yoon reported. "We can disrupt any Asthan formation at will." Colonel Ryu's strike corps boarded disabled alien vessels, demonstrating human infantry superiority in close combat. The aliens had forgotten how to fight enemies who didn't follow their rules. Human soldiers moved faster, thought quicker, and adapted to changing conditions while their opponents relied on outdated training and obsolete equipment. "Alien morale is broken," Ryu reported from inside a captured Velkari hive ship. "They're surrendering faster than we can process them." The battle reached its crescendo when Admiral Korvash himself challenged Fleet Admiral Kang to single combat between flagships. The Asthan believed that defeating the human commander would restore alien morale and turn the tide of battle. Instead, it provided the perfect demonstration of human advancement. The eternal light, pride of the Asthan hegemony, directed its full power against Earth's vengeance. Energy that could have sterilized a planet struck human armor that simply absorbed it and converted it to power. Weapons that had dominated galactic warfare for millennia proved useless against technology that evolved faster than the aliens could adapt. "Return fire," Kang ordered calmly. A single shot from Earth's vengeance penetrated the Eternal Light's shields and disabled its core systems without destroying the ship. The precision was impossible by alien standards, the restraint incomprehensible to species that knew only total victory or total defeat. Admiral Korvash's energy form flickered with shock and growing terror. "This cannot be. Humans are inferior, primitive, the Council determined." "The Council was wrong," Kang's voice cut across space. "You judged us by what we were, not what we could become. Exile didn't weaken us. It forged us into something beyond your understanding. 2 years after the Battle of the Crimson Nebula, the galaxy had learned to fear a simple truth. Humanity was no longer asking for permission. Fleet Admiral Tae-Hyun Kang stood on the observation deck of Earth's Vengeance, watching alien diplomats line up to surrender to their new human overlords. The great chamber aboard the flagship had been designed for this moment. Where once alien species had judged humanity unworthy, now they knelt before human superiority. The irony was not lost on any of the humans present. Grand Admiral Jae-Won-yoon, promoted after his brilliant tactical displays, monitored the fleet deployments across the galaxy. Human ships now patrolled every major trade route, their presence a constant reminder of the new order. The ships were sleek and deadly, bearing the modified Earth flag that included 12 stars representing the conquered Council species. Status report, Kang requested. All former Council territories are under human administration, Yoon replied. Local governments have accepted integration terms. Resistance is minimal and decreasing daily. Dr. So-Young Park, now ancient but kept alive by human medical advances, smiled from her wheelchair. She had lived to see humanity's triumph over the species that had cast them out. The aliens who had once called her people unfit for civilization now begged for the privilege of serving under human rule. The Velkari Hive Queens have accepted our neural interface requirements, Park reported. Their collective consciousness will be monitored to prevent coordination against human interests. The Aston energy forms have agreed to harmonic frequency regulation. The Thrakari Empire has disbanded its military and requested human protection. One by one, the former Council species entered the chamber to formally surrender. They moved with the careful precision of beings who knew they were completely outmatched and had no choice but to submit gracefully. The Velkari delegation came first, their insectoid forms moving in perfect synchronization, despite the neural dampeners that prevented them from achieving true hive-mind unity. Nest Commander 9847, sole survivor of the species' leadership caste, approached the human command platform. The collective submits to human authority, the alien spoke through translators. We request only the right to exist under your protection. Kang studied the creature with cold eyes. This same being had voted for humanity's exile 50 years ago, confident in alien superiority. Now it groveled before the species it had dismissed as primitive. Your request is granted, Kang replied formally. The Velkari will serve as agricultural specialists under human oversight. Your hive structure makes you efficient workers when properly directed. The Aston delegation floated forward next, their energy forms dim and subdued. Admiral Korvash, once proud commander of the Hegemony's fleet, now barely maintained coherence in the presence of human frequency modulators. The Aston hegemony acknowledges human supremacy. Korvash's mental voice was weak and defeated. We offer our energy manipulation technologies in exchange for continued existence. Accepted, Kang nodded. Your people will provide power generation services for human colonies. Your energy forms make you useful for tasks too dangerous for biological species. The pattern continued with each alien delegation. The Thrakari, once proud warriors, now offered their services as manual laborers. The Zorvak pledged their mathematical abilities to human research projects. The Mathani provided their deep space navigation expertise. Each species found their place in humanity's expanding empire, grateful to serve rather than face extinction. Colonel Minji Ryu, now General of Human Colonial Forces, supervised the integration process from her command post. Her Marines maintained order throughout former Council space, their presence ensuring that alien populations remained compliant and productive. Resistance activity is down 90% from last month, she reported. Most aliens are adapting well to human administration. Those who don't adapt don't remain a problem for long. Dr. Young-Ho Shin had expanded his psychological operations throughout the galaxy. His broadcasts now reached every alien world, reinforcing human superiority and alien submission through carefully crafted propaganda that exploited each species' psychological weaknesses. Population compliance is at acceptable levels, Shin reported. The younger alien generations are particularly receptive to human authority. They see service to humanity as natural and proper. The final act of the day came when the remaining council members officially dissolved their government and transferred all authority to the human hegemony. Admiral Kim, now ancient and frail but still sharp, watched from his honor chair as the galaxy's former rulers signed away their independence. The Galactic Harmony Council hereby dissolves itself, announced the last council speaker, a trembling Mathani whose mathematical mind had calculated the futility of resistance. All governmental functions transfer to the human hegemony effective immediately. Fleet Admiral Kang accepted the transfer documents with ceremony but no surprise. This moment had been inevitable since the first human ship emerged from exile. The aliens had created their own downfall through arrogance and ignorance. The human hegemony accepts responsibility for galactic governance, Kang announced. All species will find their place in the new order based on their abilities and willingness to serve. Ambassador Ji-Hai Choi, now Director of Galactic Affairs, stepped forward to address the assembled aliens. She was the same diplomat who had pleaded desperately for humanity's acceptance 50 years ago. Now she spoke with the authority of the galaxy's ruling species. Under human rule, the galaxy will experience unprecedented prosperity and peace, she announced. Trade routes will be protected. Conflicts will be resolved efficiently. Technology will advance at accelerated rates. You will discover that human leadership provides benefits your own governments never could. It was true. Human administration had already improved conditions throughout the galaxy. Pirate activity had been eliminated. Border disputes were settled through arbitration backed by overwhelming force. Technological advancement accelerated under human research coordination. The aliens found themselves living better, under human rule than they ever had under their own leaders. But they also knew the price of that prosperity was complete submission to human will. Dr. Park activated her personal communicator and sent a message to Earth, where humanity celebrated its rise from exiled outcasts to galactic masters. The transfer is complete, she reported. Humanity now controls all major systems, trade routes, and alien populations. The Council's authority is officially ended. The response from Earth was immediate. Celebration broadcasts that reached every human colony and ship. Children born after the exile could barely comprehend that their species had once been considered inferior by aliens who now served them without question. Young Admiral Su Jin Nam, daughter of the intelligence commander who had analyzed alien weaknesses, approached Kang with the final statistics. At 35, she represented humanity's future leadership, raised on stories of alien betrayal and human determination. Final territorial assessment complete, sir, she reported. Human authority extends over 1,200 systems. Alien populations total approximately 50 billion across all species. Economic output is up 40% under human management. Kang nodded, studying the holographic display that showed human ships patrolling their new empire. Red dots marked worlds where humans ruled and aliens served. Green lines showed trade routes protected by human force. The galaxy had been reshaped according to human will. Any remaining resistance centers? He asked. 3 minor systems in the outer rim, Nam replied. Nothing that cannot be handled by standard pacification protocols. See to it, Kang ordered. As the formal ceremonies concluded, the alien delegates departed to return to their homeworlds and inform their populations of the new reality. They would govern their own people under human oversight, maintaining order and productivity while serving their human masters. Fleet Admiral Kang remained on the observation deck as Earth's vengeance prepared to depart for its next patrol route. Through the transparent aluminum windows, he could see alien cargo ships bringing tribute to human worlds. Once proud species now labored to provide resources for humanity's continued expansion. Admiral Kim joined him at the window, his ancient eyes bright with satisfaction. Do you think we've become what we once fought against? The old man asked. Kang considered the question carefully. We've become what the galaxy forced us to become. They taught us that strength was the only truth, that the weak serve the strong, that peaceful species kneel before those willing to fight. And now they live under the system they created. If they wanted mercy, they should have shown it first. If they wanted equality, they shouldn't have cast us out. They made the rules. We simply learned to play by them better than they ever could. Admiral Kim smiled, remembering the trial 50 years ago when alien voices had pronounced humanity unfit for civilized space. I wonder what they think now, watching their former subjects prosper under human rule, while they struggle to meet our quotas. They think what all defeated species think, Kang replied. They wonder how they could have been so wrong about us. They search for explanations that don't exist. They tell themselves that human victory was luck or accident or something other than simple superiority.